Durham Cathedral is built after the invasion of 1066. So the Normans have appeared in England, and they are in control of England. William the Conqueror, of course, reigns in England from 1066 to 1087. And we're seeing this introduction of innovative stone architecture and Norman architectural ideals starting here at Durham. This replaces earlier Anglo-Saxon styles, which tend to be a little more Romanesque, a little simpler, much smaller typically. As we move, if you look at Durham, first of all, you'll notice that giant spire in the center, a square spire, serving that purpose of bringing your prayers closer to heaven. We see a massive westworks, which is in part Gothic and in part Romanesque. This is right on that cusp, once again, of structures that kind of play between the two styles. Inside, we have these massive piers, and the piers are artificial. They're drawing your eye up into the heavens, trying to develop some sense of verticality, these engaged columns. The ribs seem to spring from these engaged columns and move up into the arches that we see in that seven-part rib vault for the ceiling. Again, we saw 6-part at Saint Etienne. You're seeing 7-part here at Durham. So we're counting the parts between these central arches. So we see an arch here, we see an arch here, and in between we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 parts. Hence the 7-part rib vault. You'll also notice that these columns at ground level are massive. So they are taking up a huge amount of space to try and hold up that ceiling. The walls are incredibly thick. And this is not a really efficient form of construction if I'm trying to jam as many people as I can into as large a structure as possible. This creates a problem because if I'm to make something even bigger, those columns have to get even wider. And you can imagine sitting behind one. You can't hear the priest. You can't see what's going on. You can't see the miracles. It creates huge blind spots. They're problematic for worship. This is a problem that they're going to have to deal with. However, overall, if you look at the structure, leaving aside the issue of the columns, we see something that is longer and more slender. We are starting to move towards those Gothic ideas of a church that is very slender yet very tall. That tall, thin structure that will be a huge element of the Gothic. So this is right at the end of the Romanesque. Like I said before, there is no specific line that can be drawn between Romanesque and Gothic. It is a slow evolution, and we are right on that cusp of what you would recognize as a typically Gothic church.